We start with breaking news tonight in the week-long search for a missing hiker from Brightwood. That woman's husband is now behind bars accused of murder. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm John Adams. Let's get right to our Catherine Cook live in Welch's with what we know. Catherine.
John, investigators say Susan Lane Fournier's body was found yesterday near Highway 26 on East Miller Road in Brightwood, near where she lived. The medical examiner ruled her death a homicide. Detectives say shortly after Lane Fournier's body was found, they arrested her husband, 71-year-old Michael Fournier. He was booked into the Clackamas County Jail on a charge of second-degree murder. Lane Fournier was reported missing November 22nd after not showing up for work. Search and rescue crews responded initially to reports that she might have been hiking with her dogs in the Mount Hood National Forest. According to court documents, Lane Fournier had filed for divorce from Fournier less than a month ago, citing irreconcilable differences. They'd been married for 12 years. We spoke with their next-door neighbors. They said the couple mostly kept to themselves, but lately they say the community had been concerned for Lane Fournier's safety.
They were expecting it. You know, a lot of people talked about DV, domestic violence, but yeah, the other thing was everybody wants to know where the dogs are.
And Lane Fournier's two Malinois mixed dogs are still missing. Fournier is lodged in the Clackamas County Jail without bail. Anyone with information on this case is asked to call the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. John, back to you.
All right, our Catherine Cook live tonight. Thank you, Catherine. Well, along the Oregon coast, one person has been arrested on murder charges after he allegedly attacked a person last weekend. Newport police said last Sunday evening they were called to a home near Northwest 15th and Grove. There they spoke with Jeffrey Sutton, who told them the suspect, Mark Rogers, attacked Sutton after telling an intoxicated Rogers to leave his home. While talking with officers, Sutton began to have a hard time breathing. Medics were called, but he was soon pronounced dead at the scene. Rogers is now lodged in the Lincoln County Jail on second-degree murder charges and assault charges. An update now to a deadly crash that happened Wednesday evening in southwest Portland. Police have identified the two people killed, 31-year-old Evan Hadlock and 32-year-old David Hadlock of St. Helens. The two are brothers. Police believe Evan, who was driving David and another person, was drunk when they hit a car at Southwest Barber Boulevard in southwest Terwilliger. The crash is still under investigation. Portland police have also identified the woman killed in a three-car crash on Thanksgiving evening. It happened around 6 at Northeast Lombard and 13th Avenue in the Woodlawn neighborhood. Police now believe a driver crossed the center line and hit the car 46-year-old Andrea Doring was in head-on. She died at the scene, and the driver and the front seat passenger were both seriously injured. Police believe the driver of the other car was drunk and said he's expected to face charges. Around Portland, you probably noticed more police officers walking around at shopping centers and community events. Since Black Friday, PPB has been conducting holiday walking patrols. Every day from noon until 8 this holiday season, at least 2 officers will be out walking, hitting major city spots, including the zoo and shopping malls. Police Chief Bob Day said these patrols are difficult to pull off given the Bureau's budget and staffing constraints, but they also aid in giving people positive interactions with police.
From an efficiency standpoint, you could look at this and say, hey, at a time where resources are thin, this is maybe not the best use of our time and our money. But I feel very strongly in the relationship piece.
These walking patrols will continue throughout the holiday season, ending at 8 p.m. on December the 31st. Well, turning out to weather, hope you don't mind waking up with chilly temperatures and foggy conditions like we saw this morning, because our forecast isn't going to be changing much over the next couple of days. Let's check in with meteorologist Joe Ranieri with what the first couple days of December are going to look like. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good evening to you, John. Yeah, the first couple days of December are going to be downright chilly, at least throughout the morning hours. And because of our stagnant air and that ridge of high pressure that's just been parked out in the Pacific, we're under an air stagnation advisory throughout parts of the coast and up and down the I-5 corridor, as well into the southeast side of the state. That's going to be in place until Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And as we look at the air quality right now, it's not going to suffer much between now and Monday when that alert is lifted. But we're looking at readings anywhere from the moderate category throughout much of the Salem area, central part of the valley, and into the northern part of the valley, even along the Oregon coast, just south of Astoria there. You're looking at the air quality being in the moderate category. So once we see a change in our weather pattern, things will start to improve. But for the most part, this big ridge of high pressure is going to be forcing all those clouds well north of us. But we are seeing clouds in the form of patchy areas of fog. That's what we saw earlier this morning, and that's what we're going to be seeing heading into tomorrow as well. So as we bring in the futurecast, yeah, those clouds will be thick throughout parts of the I-5 corridor, and there could be some areas of freezing fog, basically Salem south and into wine country as well. I'll break that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you later in the show. Many families in Western Washington are still not back in their homes after major damage from last week's bomb cyclone. Bridget Chavez introduces us to a couple whose home was destroyed by a fallen tree and shares how they are holding on to hope this holiday season as they begin to rebuild.
Seeing your living room crumble to pieces it's devastating.
Just a couple of hours before this tree came crashing through the Wright family's roof.
We're obviously lucky to be here, but could have been, a lot worse.
Come on, Ray! Rachel made the choice to get her and their dog, Bandit, out as a bomb cyclone moved in.
This window got shattered. The tree came from this way. Big pieces of drywall fell here. Our whole, fan and everything fell down. Whole bunch of insulation. It was a mess in here.
Rachel says their couch was here, so if she would have been home, she would have been directly under where the drywall came down.
Rachel and her husband got married here last month.
So that was our wedding arch. And
It survived.
Yeah, it did. I was like, it's kind of funny. I had asked my husband if we should move that because I was like, is that going to come through a window? But no, a tree did.
This is the last thing the newlyweds expected to be dealing with.
It's, heartbreaking and overwhelming.
The timing is unfortunate.
I was looking forward to baking in here and bringing, treats to Thanksgiving, and we're not going to be able to put up a Christmas tree this year, and, all of that stuff is tough.
It will be months before the Wrights can return home.
This is my favorite time of the year, and so it's tough not being able to spend it the way that we like to, decorating this place, having our Christmas tree, being cozy. But we're still grateful.
Despite the damage, they're still anchored in hope.
Hug your family members. That's, at the end of the day, that's what matters.
In Issaquah, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
We continue to follow negotiations between Greater Albany Public Schools and the local teachers union. In an update today, we learned there is a single outstanding issue. The Greater Albany Educators Association wants the district to commit to a hard cap on class sizes for kindergarten classrooms. The district said it has created processes to address this issue, but with declining enrollment, the commitment represents a risk. The district said it will provide another update tomorrow on where bargaining stands. Meanwhile, here in Portland, the city council is considering filing an unfair labor practice complaint against the city's largest union. The city said the local unit of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees has violated its bargaining agreement by hosting 2 pickets, which were promoted as practice pickets. The city warned the union before the first one was held, but they went on with it anyway. The city council is scheduled to vote on Wednesday on whether they want to move forward with the complaint. Well, Black Friday has come and gone, but for some, today was all about supporting small businesses in Oregon and Washington. Small Business Saturday is a way to support local stores and to get some of that holiday shopping done at the same time. Our Celine Stevens has more.
From the Vancouver Mall to a Christmas market in Beaverton to PDX, shoppers were out getting through those holiday wish lists on Small Business Saturday.
We have always been supporters of Small Business Saturday.
I prefer to, the small businesses versus, don't necessarily need to pay the big guy when, everyone else wants to make a little cash.
At the newly remodeled Portland International Airport, pre-security shops and restaurants were open to travelers and people just there to shop.
When we saw that they were going to have the PDX area open to regular shopping, we thought that would be a good way to check it out and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get to see the new airport and shop.
Another perk, the airport covers 2 hours of parking on all holiday Saturdays through December 28th.
We started off with coffee. Portland Coffee Roasters did very well by us. Local small business is important to us, but on this day, we try to really get out and support.
Shoppers also stopped by the Vancouver Mall, where they could shop at some small, local stores and pop-ups.
I like to do the small businesses and locals and stuff like that. We ended up getting some ornaments here from the local shop and gotten them all the names put on them so that the kids will have various, memorability for next year and years coming.
And the shopping didn't end there. In Beaverton, a local Oregon Native Hawaiian organization hosted its first Pacific Islander Christmas market, which featured small businesses, either owned by Pacific Islanders or with ties to Hawaii.
You often see us at programs like Asian Pacific Islander Month or celebrating those, and a lot of times those events tend to overshadow our Pacific Islander communities.
While several vendors were selling a range of items to customers, the organization also gave out free food bags to make treats like sweet potato pie and hygiene bags to give away to the community.
We're trying to really create accessibility here in Oregon, and also highlight that we're here and that we have opportunities for our communities to come and shop and support small business owners.
And judging by the crowds, they did just that. Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Well, as many of you probably just saw right here on KGW, the Oregon Ducks just polished off an undefeated regular season by demolishing the Washington Huskies in front of a home crowd. So let's go right to our Orlando Sanchez, who is live inside Autzen Stadium. Orlando, how's the atmosphere there in Autzen right now?
Yeah, John, it's a party now. Everyone taking a victory lap, now 12-0 for just the second time in program history. And I know that things were a little uneasy to start the day with so many upsets across college football. The Ducks making sure their name not on that list, and they take care of business in dominant fashion. 49-21, the vibes right now, 12-0. Check out the sign, the hat, the people celebrating inside Autzen Stadium as the Ducks complete the perfect regular season. And now so much more to play for, including a Big Ten championship. Ohio State upset by Michigan. That opened the door for Penn State. So now the Ducks will take on Penn State in the Big Ten championship next week in Indianapolis. I will be there. KGW will have you covered the rest of the way as the Ducks go in pursuit for that national championship. But the top-ranked team in the nation, 12-0, running the table in the regular season, and you know we've got those highlights coming up with Art Edwards a little bit later in sports. But for right now, it is a party at Autzen Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. John, back to you in the studio.